Hey y'all, it's me. It's episode 29. I know that I'm running behind by 7 minutes. I had some technical difficulties, but I am here and I am thankful that I am here. I'm thankful to be here with you all. Y'all know how we do at the Glow Up is this is what we do, right? We grow to glow. Y'all, listen. Your girl, okay, is excited because it's episode 29. It is episode 29. Thank y'all so much for y'all support and just being there. Man, listen, we in this thing together, right? That's what we do. That's what we signed up for. We are in this thing together. Today's episode, because y'all know your girl goes through, and I know that at the end of the day, right, we go through, but we gonna always get to, and we gonna grow to glow, and that's what we do here at the grow up at the Glow Up is we grow up to glow up. But anyway, so the title of today's episode is God will take care of you. God has really literally been putting this on my spirit as of lately, because I think that right now in this moment, we are all going through a lot of different things, right? A lot of different changes, perhaps. Um, and we have to be reminded that God will take care of us. It's so important to remember that. It's so important. Like when you have your back up against the wall, when you're going through different things, right? And you feel like you have so much that's on you, we have to continuously remind ourselves that God will take care of us. Um, Man, it's crazy, right? Because sometimes for me, I find myself and I'm just like, great day, God. I said, I know you got something for me and I know you got something for your people. But it was just so like as plain as day this week, y'all, because when you going through things in that moment, sometimes we can allow our emotions to get the best of us, right? But I'm constantly reminded that God will take care of it. And so I'm always excited about what God is doing and how he's moving in my life. And I'm always excited about what he's doing in your life. He's growing us to glow us. He wants his light to shine, and his light gonna shine, baby. You hear me? His light is gonna shine. So, with that being said, let's get into this thing. Um, I wanted to do. I wanted to give y'all a scripture um, about God taking care um, of us, and it's going to be coming from out of Matthew. It's definitely going to be coming out of the book of Matthew, chapter 6, verse 26, which says, look at the birds of the air. They do not sow or reap or store away in barns, and yet your heavenly Father feeds them. Are you not much more valuable than they? So I wanted to make sure that you knew today and make sure that you don't forget that God will take care of you. If he's telling you that he literally takes care of the birds. He takes care of those things that we don't even think that are important, right? Like the trees, right? Um, his animals, his people, right? Like I mean, people that we even think like, man, they still out here living. You see what I'm saying? Like, I ain't gonna go that far, but I'm just saying, like, we have to be reminded, man, that God is going to take care of us, that every single need shall be met, even our wants. Like God wants to remind us in today, in this season, right? Regardless of what it looks like, regardless of what it feels like, that we are reminded that God is a keeper, that He is going to take care of us. Like we are His responsibility. Like we we must just really trust our Father. We just have to let God be God. Sometimes, y'all, we don't want to let God be God, and that's why we get our panties in a bunch. That's why we get so caught up in our emotions sometimes, because I'm guilty of it. I be like, dang, I don't even know how this is gonna get paid. I don't even know how this is gonna get done today, right? I gotta call this person. I gotta do this, and I gotta do this, and God is like, just stop, just stop. I got this. I got you. Like I'm gonna always make a way for you, right? And sometimes closed mouths don't get fed, right? So even with that, like I'm learning to be intentional with opening up my mouth and also being intentional with the things that I know that I need, right? Because God already knows that I need them before I even ask Him for them. So I'm understanding that if I can just continue to open my mouth, right, and believe that God is going to do it for me, right? And I truly believe that God will place people in our paths to show us exactly what it is that we need. And they may even be the answer to the problem. And I talked about that a little bit last week. Like, you are the answer to someone's problem. Someone is looking for you for their solution. You have what it is that they need. But a lot of times we just get so caught up in ourselves and in our own mess, in our own trials and tribulations. And we just forget that, you're human just like we are. We're like, you're like, listen, you're on an assignment. Like, I think we get so wrapped up in everyday routine because we've been doing it for so long. Like, our habits literally show us patterns and trends of the things that we do. And what's more important than trusting God? What's more important, right? And what's more of value, right? What's more of value than spending time with that man or spending time with that woman? And I ain't saying that it's a bad thing spending time with your man or your woman, you know. I'm not saying it at all, even to your kids. But there must be some time, some quality time that needs to be spent with God in order for God to do what it is that He needs for you to do. A lot of people are just counting on God to just take care of them, and they don't even know who God is. They got more faith than the believers. I'm just saying that is a ouch, ouch, ouch. Because you literally have people out here that literally believe that they just gonna make it home. And that's faith. Like, it's literally like we are not guaranteed to make it home, but you got a lot of people out here that really believe that they are entitled to make it home. And I dare not. I used to be one of those people though that used to really literally say, you know what? Let me go ahead and I'm gonna just I know I'm gonna be here tomorrow, so I'll do it tomorrow. I put it off until tomorrow, right? But I'm believing by faith that I'm gonna be here. But at the end of the day, God does not have to wake me up. You see what I'm saying? So we have to be mindful of that too. Like, and I think about just the birds, right? Because in that verse, he's specifically saying, like, man, I make sure that they eat. I make sure that they have shelter. I make sure that they have, everything that they need. I make sure that they're able to take the baths that they need. I make sure that they get the water that they need, right? I make sure that they do these things because I am the source, right? And if we stay focused on the source, we stay focused on the source, then we can gain all of the other resources. We can gain all of the things that it is that He needs for us to do. And some of us, man, we are in the right place, but we're not in position to receive. And a lot of times, man, God always, hey, listen, God always have a way of just bringing me right back to that situation, right? Like, He will always show you exactly what it is, because sometimes, man, we can be in the right place at the right time, but just not in position to be able to receive what it is that He has for us. Listen, I'm gonna tell you what. So I was at the right location to be able to receive this check. So I was supposed to be getting this check. Um, because my home builders or whatever, they end up using some of my water. So, anyways, that's a long story short. That's neither here nor there. But, anyways, I was supposed to go to the bank and meet them at this spot, right? And I'm thinking that it was the other one that was closer to my house. So I just went to the one that was literally down the street, right? So I knew that that was the right location. But when I got in there, I asked for her and I was like, well, dang, I said, I don't even know which floor I'm supposed to go on. Where do I need to go? And so when I tried to do that, what God what God ended up doing was just like, so you need to call them people and make sure you are in the right position. Like, you are in the right place, but are you in position to be able to receive it? Because right now you're sitting down, you haven't gotten up to ask nobody anything, right? Besides, you asked the lady when you first came in, but I've been sitting here for a while now. So then I told you, right? Closed mouths don't get fed, right? So now I go to the place and I'm like, okay, so where in the world do I need to go? Where else do I need to be going? But I'm thinking that the lady is going to come to me because she told me to get there, right? I'm sitting there and I'm waiting, and I already asked the lady about the lady. So I'm just sitting there and I'm still waiting. And I'm like, okay, time has gone past, time has gone past. And it's like, I still have some things to do. And I know that I got to get on this podcast in a minute. And these people playing in my face. And I do not like it when people play in my face. Okay. I do not like it when people play in my face. So what I didn't do was is look at the email and actually check where she told me to meet her. So I was not in position, y'all. Listen. So now I gotta wait until Monday to receive what I was supposed to receive today. Now, it's not a no, right? It was just delayed. So it's okay. As long as I get it by Monday, I'm okay with it. But long story short, man, we got to make sure that we in position. We got to make sure that we are we are exactly where we supposed to be. And that we opening our mouths because I had felt entitled because I felt like y'all owed me this, right? And I showed up on my time. You see what I'm saying? To do, to come and do this, to come and pick this up when you really could have just brought it to my house. You see what I'm saying? But there I go again, being entitled. But God always makes a way. And he had to check me on that because the reality is that I just wasn't in the right position. I was in the right place, but I wasn't in position to receive it. So man, that thing hit me like a ton of bricks. And I just kept thinking about, God will always take care of us. Like he's gonna take care of us no matter what. And I think sometimes, right, we can get so anxious and we get so worried about things that's beyond our control. Like, do the things that you can control, but leave the rest alone. Like, what can you really do about this situation? You see what I'm saying? Like, would it really have helped me to really go off in the lady, like at the lady who really didn't even, she was just the clerk. That's all. Like she should have known, a little bit more information than what she did. But at the same time, right? She wasn't the person, right, that had offended me. She wasn't the person that I was supposed to be receiving, receiving the funds from, right? So I didn't want to take it out on her, but I didn't like the way that, I felt like I was getting offended because I felt like people was playing with me in my face, and I do not like that. Even though I'm saved, right? Even though I'm saved and I believe, I still, God's still working on me with that. I do not like it when people play in my face. And I'm just like, why I'm here, right? But anyway, that's neither here nor there. But I'm just using this as an example because the crazy part is, man, is that we worry about things, we get anxious, and I'm telling you because y'all, I was like this. Just breathe, Toya. Just breathe. Just breathe. Because at this point, it's nothing that you can do about it, right? I had to look at the bigger picture because if I got so wrapped up in it, I'm like, man, I just need those funds. I need to make sure I get those funds today. And I'm just like, well, Toya, look at it like this, right? First and foremost, it is yours, right? It's yours. Absolutely, it is. It belongs to you because they are supposed to be cutting the funds to you. But I'm thankful and grateful, first and foremost, that I do have the money already to be able to pay for it. But that was just besides the point, right? Because it's the principle sometimes about things, right? Is that you owe this to me, so I need for you to give me my money, give me my coins. But at the same time, right, I had to look at the bigger picture because God was like, well, listen, you got off at the time that you got off. And then on top of that, right, you knew that the bank was going to be closing at this time. You barely made it in. So now that you're sitting there, you're worried about, okay, where is this lady? Where is my money? What am I going to, what's happening? Because you're sitting there and you waiting and it just didn't happen the way that you thought it was going to happen. It wasn't a no, but it was delayed. And so I'm excited even in that, right? Because that gave me even more hope is that the promises are coming. Like it's coming. Whatever it is that you are asking God for, whatever you're believing God for, it is coming. Like it's coming, it's within reach. And I had to be encouraged this week, y'all, to be reminded of this is that it's coming. What you know that God has done for you, what you know that God has for you, like it is yours. There is no such thing as nope, it's not going to happen because it's going to happen. God gives you all of the different things that work together, and He will even give you confirmation and affirmation from people that are around you that you surround yourself with, right? To even encourage you. And sometimes He will even use people, everyday people, right? He uses us. That's what He does. He uses everyday people, like to confirm and affirm what it is that He's already given you. And that's what He just wants us to do. He just wants to hold on, to hang in there and just be reminded that He is going to take care of it. Like, even though I didn't get the funds today, It didn't mean that it was a no. It didn't mean that it was not going to happen. I'm just so happens now that they decided to go ahead and mail it to me instead and provided me with the tracking number, but I was not in position to receive it. So because I was not in position to receive it, right, physically, right, because the lady had ended up sending me an email to let me know that she had already left, even though the bank closed at 6 o'clock. So I'm really trying to understand why she leave at 6 o'clock when that didn't even make sense. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. But God still said yes to this thing. Like God still says, guess what, Toya? I may not be able to get it there to you when you want it, right? Because you want it to come today on Friday. So then that way it's already in there on Monday and you ain't got to worry about it, right? But God's like, it's still coming. And the due date is on Tuesday. So why are you worried about anything again? Listen, y'all. And then it's like, why am I even worried about it anyways when I had the money to already pay for it? This is the thing that God is just like, we work ourselves up over craziness. And that's why I was like, man, God, I'm just so encouraged by this because what you gave me even more on today is it's reminding me of the promises that you promised me, and you're letting me know that you got this thing handled, that you don't need my help, that you are God alone, that you don't need Latoya, you don't need Latoya's hands on anything. That the promises is still yes and amen. That means that yes, I said yes. You don't have to know the timing. You don't have to understand, but you have to understand that it's going to happen right on time, because even though it's coming on Monday, guess what, y'all? It's still right on time. It's delayed according to me. It's not even delayed according to God. It's right on time for God. And in my mind, right, I'm looking at it like, this ain't even right on time. Because sometimes, y'all, we want what we want when we want it. And it's nothing, I'm not going to say it's nothing wrong with that, because that's our human nature, right? But God doesn't work around our own human comprehension and what we want all the time. He doesn't work. It does not work like that. And then on top of that, right, God's timing is so perfect for our lives. Like what he sees and what he wants and what he desires for us. And I mean, at the end of the day, when he's like, man, I just want to take care of you. Like, don't you understand your value? Don't you understand your worth? Like, you mean more to me than the birds do. Like, you mean more to me than any animals. Like, you are my creation. Like, you are made in my image and you're beautifully and wonderfully made. Like, God is just that good, y'all. Like, he had to remind me of this even earlier in this week, because I've been believing and I know God is still going to do it. And I know that God is doing it. And so I'm excited about that thing. But at the same time, right, I think sometimes we just get so wrapped up in ourselves. We get so wrapped up in ourselves, y'all, because we just want it. We want it now. We want it now. Hey T. Hey Kay. I didn't know y'all was on here yet. Hey T. I said I tried to shout you out last week, girl. Happy belated birthday. I hope you enjoyed it. Yeah, that was a sidebar, but I had to shout her out because she's definitely one of my faves. She's always so supportive of the Glow Up Is. So I definitely wanted to make sure I shouted you out, Tierra, girl. Happy birthday. But anyways, y'all, get back to this. God will take care of you. Like, just be reminded that God will take care of you. Everything that you need, even to your wants, man. Like, spend time with God. Talk to God. Tell him what it is that you know that you need. Like, I think just sometimes, y'all, if we can't be vulnerable with God, like, we can't be vulnerable with other people. How in the world do you expect to even have a relationship or even build a friendship or any of that, right? When you can't even be vulnerable with God. Like, listen, I used to be like that. I'm telling you, I used to be like that, because the thing that's crazy is and I think sometimes when you're young, it's easy for you to trust people because in that moment you're so gullible, right? And innocent. And it's easy for you to just trust people, and then you see people, right, because you start going through it as you get older. You take those experiences and you just like, I ain't really trying to do that no more. You know what I'm saying? But God has a way of restoring you. God has a way of restoring your faith. God has a way of restoring even to your vulnerabilities, where he will begin to show you people that are for you. And so I'm thankful for my crew. I'm thankful for my friends. because I'm telling you, man, they are like-minded. They just like me. They want to win. They want to be successful. They want to hear God say, "Well done, my faithful servant." They want to hear, "Yes, you fulfilled my purpose while you were on earth." And that's all that it's about for me, because this is what the glow up is represents. It's like taking those things that we deal with inside, y'all. All of the mess, all of the things that we deal, like all of those things that we deal with, all of the emotions, um, all of the things that are toxic, right? But like behaviors, all of those things that we shouldn't necessarily continue to have to even deal with, right? Those things, man, God wants them. Like he wants them. And that's what the glow up is about. Like we got to deal with those things in order to glow. We cannot allow God's light to really shine if we are not out here doing the work. So we got to put that work in. Listen, it's hard sometimes to put that word in, honey. Like, it's so hard to put that work in because you got to get the word in. You got to get the word in order to put the work in, right? And even to understanding what God is trying to do in our lives. Sometimes we don't even understand what he's trying to do in our lives because we're so focused on um ourselves. We're so focused on the things that are around us, and we're allowing things that shouldn't even be bothering us to bother us. Like I don't even know why we even allow people to even get in our spirits. You see what I'm saying? Like it shouldn't even be like that. Like nobody should have that much power over you for you to allow them to win, for them to try and dictate to you your thoughts. That's what we call manipulation. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for no type of manipulation at all. Like what we won't do is is depend on people. Like we sometimes we just can't depend on people. And sometimes, we just gotta let it go. Because at the end of the day, we just gotta say, God got it. God got it. God got it. And I'm just constantly reminded of that, y'all, is that God got it. We have to be mindful of the people that we surround ourselves with. We got to, because it's hard out here, right? When you have people who literally want to see the people that you used to hang around. And y'all, I'm gonna tell you what I told y'all before. Listen, God had to remove some people from my life, and I'm excited about it, even to family. Like he had literally had to remove people away from me, because the thing is, I don't like it when people play in my face, and God knows I don't like it when people play in my face. Y'all ought to see my hands. My hands over here moving and everything. Ask God for deliverance with this thing. You see what I'm saying? Because it's real. Like it is really real out here. Sometimes I feel like I'm anointed to lay hands on people. And I ain't talking about lay hands on them to heal them. I'm talking about to bless them with. Oh God. Listen. Oh God. All right. But I see y'all. I stayed there too long. I enjoyed that conversation so much though. But I stayed there too long, and God was like, "Come on back. Let me reel Toya back in." But it's a real thing, because I'm learning not to take offense. I'm learning to not take things so personally, because what I'm realizing more and more, right, is that people deal with things differently. Like we receive things differently, and people also perceive things differently. So sometimes with perception, right, it can be a very distorted view when you look at the perception of people, because even though it may look a certain way, doesn't necessarily mean that that's what it is, right? And so I'm learning that even more too, right? And so God has really been checking me on a lot of things, because it's some things that I want to receive, but it's like, okay, you want to receive the husband, you want to receive the kids, you want to be able to receive all of these things, but baby, what else are you doing to show me that you're ready to be a wife? What else are you showing me, right? To be a mom, right? And so me, I've definitely been intentional with God and showing God, right? Because sometimes we just have to be reminded that when God says, "I'm gonna take care of you," like, and that you are of more value than the birds, like we just have to know that, if we allow him to build us up, even to become that wife, even to become that mother, even to become the things that it is that you desire to become, Like, you got to trust God with your dreams. You got to trust God with your desires. Like, you should be able to be vulnerable enough. And there goes that vulnerability word again. Like, you should be able to discuss that with God. Because if you can't do that with God, how in the world do you plan on doing that? Like, it's just not making sense, right? Because he is the source and he creates the resources, y'all. Like, we definitely, got to get out here and do the work. We got to go out here and do exactly what it is that he's called us to do, but we should not be worried about a thing because he's already told us in his word. Matthew 6:26 just said it, y'all. I just read it to y'all. Listen, he said the birds ain't got to worry about nothing. So if the birds ain't got to worry about nothing, you ain't got to worry about nothing. So we ain't got to worry about nothing because God wants to take care of us. We are his responsibility. Listen, I be walking around this house and I be reminding God, I am your responsibility. I'm your responsibility. I'm yours, God. I'm yours. I'm yours. I'm yours. I'm your responsibility, God. I'm yours. I'm yours. And sometimes, y'all, you have to remind God of who you are too, right? Because he wants to make sure that you receiving the words. He want to make sure that you receiving him. He want to make sure that you understand what it is that he putting down and what he putting out. There's nothing wrong with that. Like, sometimes you got to show God, listen, I have been reading this word and I'm showing you exactly what it is that I'm believing you for, right? But again, we got to get in the position to receive it. And we can't get in the position to receive it if we not in his word. And he can't take care of us, right? Like, fully, if we don't let go of some things. Like, some of us want to be God so bad. Some of us want to be God so bad. Some of us want to be out here just telling people, nope, that ain't what we doing. Nope. And I'm not telling you that you can't, right? You have a right to say no to a lot of things, but do you pray on it first? Do you pray on it first? Did you hear what I just said? Do you pray on it first? Y'all, I promise you, when I'm talking to y'all, I'm talking to me too, because listen, I'm learning more and more to pray first and then do. Because I gotta play my role. I got to let God be God because I don't hold all power in my hand. I don't know everything. God does. So why would I not want to trust him? Why would I not allow him to take the reins? I think sometimes it's easier said than done because we've been doing it for so long, y'all. Like, we out here literally playing God. We just like, oh, okay, well, I done helped this person, I done did this. Next thing you know, you stressed out. You done got yourself put up in a whole lot of mess that you didn't need to, right? Then you got people looking at you crazy. They perceiving you, talking about you, saying all these different things and making up all these stories, right? When it ain't even what they thought that it was, but because they saw it, they just looked at it and said, oh, yeah, that's what it was. And next thing you know, this whole spiel that came around and you like, what in the world is happening here? It's not making sense, right? Because then what happens is then you get caught up in your feelings, right? And the enemy's like, this is what the enemy does though. He uses things, man. He uses people sometimes. You see what I'm saying? To try and perceive things and make it look like it's something when it's nothing at all. It's so crazy. I'm gonna tell you what, man. Listen, I am really at this place, y'all, when I'm just like, God, you gonna take care of this. God, you're gonna take care of me. God, you're gonna love on me. God, I need your push. God, I need your yes. I don't need your no today. God, I'm just real. And this is the thing. We can be open and honest with God, y'all. When we can be open and honest with ourselves, right? And and realize and confess and say that we have these issues. Like, we can bring our issues to God, man. Nobody else can fix them. Can't nobody else fix these issues but him. Can't nobody else do it like he can do it anyway. I'm just saying. Like, so what are we holding it for? Why are we holding it in? And I'm learning too, more and more too, like, my business ain't really my business. Like, what business do I really have? I don't even care no more. This thing is too stressful. It's too stressful to be worried about what somebody else got to say or what somebody else got to think. Let them people think what they want to think. Let them people say whatever they want to say, because God already told you in his word, touch not my anointed. Listen, and do them no harm. I don't know about y'all, but listen, I'm anointed. So anybody that got my name on their tongue, honey, listen, you just might as well be saying you playing in God's face. He don't play about Latoya. Okay. And I know he probably don't play about y'all either. I'm just saying, sometimes y'all, we got to say these things and we got to be real with ourselves. Because listen, I'm out here and I'm living life, definitely living life. And I ain't saying that I'm perfect, but I'm definitely trying to live right. I'm trying, y'all. I'm definitely trying to do the right thing. I want to do the right thing. Sometimes I don't necessarily do the right thing. But I am very intentional with this thing because I'm always like, God, well, I ask that you forgive me for that because, I did take it a little too far. You see what I'm saying? But I'm able to take accountability and not get offended anymore because that's the growing part. And I can't expect everybody to be at that level where I'm at. And I can't accept that everybody, you know what I'm saying, is just, okay, maybe they're just not doing the work. Are they lazy? Are they complacent? What's happening here? Right? But I've learned to accept people for who they are and who they show me they are. Because at the end of the day, right, I want people to accept me for who I am and who I show them who I am, like who I am and who I am to be. Like, I don't want nobody to just be like, well, no, that ain't who she really is. I had one of my friends, God bless her soul, and I think she on here tonight too. Me and her, we met each other like this summer. This summer we met each other, right? And you could swear to God like we've been knowing each other forever, ever. But she is stuck with me forever, ever. But I just think that it's so funny because she was like, I looked at your page and I was like, Brad Day, she really is who she says she is. And I'm like, huh? Like, what you mean? I was tripping off of that, and God had to show me in that moment is that Toya, what she's saying is at the end of the day, she's saying that what you represent and what she's seen from you is not a lie. What she's seen from you, right, is that you are exactly who you say you are. You're not pretending to be somebody that you're not. You are comfortable in your skin. And I just thought that was so dope because I was like, well, God, that's exactly what I want to portray. That's exactly who I am. Like this glow up is thing, y'all. Listen, I'm gonna tell you, this is real. Like, God really is out here and molding you, shaping you, and changing your character. Like he's building your character up. Like he's taking some of that old stuff away and he's molding you and he's pressing you. And I'm thankful that God allowed her to come in my life and to be able to see that, right? Because sometimes in life, man, you be like, dang, am I still doing it? Like I ain't doing the things that I used to do, but I want my light to shine. I want to glow for you, God. I want to grow for you, but I want to glow for you too. You see what I'm saying? Y'all, oh my God. Oh my God. Yes, Kay. Sometimes what we want to keep to ourselves is what needs to be shared. Absolutely. Yes. Yes, T. And nobody should have to. Oh my God. Y'all are blessing me on this side chat over here. Y'all are so right though. It's really real because sometimes we do want to keep things to ourselves and we can't get healed, right, unless we release it. Like sometimes it's not even that you have to release it to a person in that moment. You got to release it to God. Like really release it to God first and then ask God who you need to release it to because it ain't just for you. I promise you it's somebody out here that's waiting for you to cross their path so you can share with them how you got through it. How did you make it through? Some of us, man, on here on tonight, man, we are survivors. Like we are literally true survivors. Like literally, we should have been dead and gone, but God. And guess what? Somebody need to hear that. Somebody need to hear that a relationship didn't work out. You see what I'm saying? Somebody need to hear that. Somebody need to hear that it's okay for you to be in your 30s, right, and not have no kids. Amen. I'm just saying, it's okay. You've not failed, right? You haven't failed. Nope, 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 nope. You are just right on time. You are just right on time. And sometimes, y'all, it's hard because people will literally put their timelines on you. People will literally put what they want on you, their insecurities on you. People are mad because you're not where they thought or where they feel like you should be. Y'all, listen, I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to help you because the thing is, we got to open our mouths to free ourselves, right? And a lot of us, we walking around free, but we ain't shared it with nobody. We out here getting fat on the word. God that called us, we out here getting fat on the word. We getting the word, but we ain't out here feeding the word. We ain't out here letting people know why we smiling. Like I literally had somebody that while I was at the bank, it was like, oh, she looked like she, so before I got in there, before I actually went in the bank, it was like, oh, okay, she's just smiling. Oh, you just like, look like you just smiling. You're such a joyful person. And I was like, I am joyful. Thanks be to God. And I said it just like that. It literally came out of my mouth just like that. And it was nothing. Like it was just like, man, I gotta give God the glory. But imagine if I was in my own way in that moment and I just would have been like, yeah, yeah, I'm joyful. But I'm not telling you why I'm joyful. Y'all, listen, it's people that literally are waiting for you to cross paths with them. And I'm excited because the thing is that what God is showing me more and more is that I'm going to take care of you. You got to trust my timing. You got to trust that my timelines are perfect for your life. You got to trust that, that God got that I got you. God, we got to trust that God got us. We got to trust that everything is happening for a reason. Oh my God. Yes, y'all. Oh my gosh. Y'all so encouraging. I love this. I love this. I love this. I love this. Because this is what this is about, man. We're growing to glow. And you are so right. Like at the end of the day, right? Being in your 30s, being in your 40s, right? Even having a baby at 40, right? It's not, the doctors will tell you all different types of things, right? But what I know is, right, is that I believe in God and I serve the one true God. And I'm so thankful that I serve the living God. I'm so thankful for that. Like, sometimes, man, like I could get so caught up in this world and what this world thinks and what they say and how they say it. And it's crazy because what I'm learning more and more is that I can't trust nothing else or nobody else but God. I can't even trust my own self sometimes. Like, listen, I'm telling you, like when God says that I'm going to take care of you, like he really means that. And I just more so understand now that his timing is more perfect than anything. Like I'm learning that, even me now, even in my 30s, even though I don't have kids yet and I don't have my husband yet, right, physically with me, um, I'm able to say without a shadow of a doubt, right, is that me being able to learn to be a mom, to be able to see other people be moms, to be able to see other people be wives, right? I know the things that I want to do and the things that I don't want to do, but I'm also at an age where I'm more mature, right? So it's a lot of things that I've learned now, even in my 30s, where I could teach my kids those things early on versus me being in my 20s, right? I'm not saying that I was an immature person, you know what I'm saying, but I was really a kid, you know what I'm saying? Like even at 19, I was still a teenager, right? And 20 and 21, 20, like I really went out and I enjoyed myself, right? And I can honestly say that, but I've never been a person that like to just go out all the time. I just never been that person. But I would go out to the clubs here and there, right? But it never was my thing. Like drinking was my thing. Like I like to drink. My favorite alcohol had to be Ciroc. I think Ciroc like literally was everything to me. Like I would be out like college days. What? Okay, so you're gonna have a ball. And so you're gonna get a Fanta, a pineapple Fanta, and the pineapple Ciroc. Okay. Or either just a regular Ciroc. Ain't even have to have no taste to it because I was gonna add that to my fizzle. Okay. That pineapple Fanta mixed with that Ciroc, honey. And you talking about something that'll creep up on you? Oh my God. But it was so good. It was so good because the rock was so smooth. But anyways, now I'm going there. See, listen, see this sometimes, right? You got to be reminded, you know what I'm saying, of where you were, but where you are now. Like even me now, like I decided that I don't even really want to even drink wine anymore because what I found myself doing is, right, is that, for me, I'm not really a wine person, but because I used to drink, I used wine as a substitution for Ciroc. So for me now, God has changed that. And he's like, okay, let's move some things out, right? And so now for me, I'm not really a wine drinker either. He's kind of like taking the wine taste from me too. And so I may do it occasionally, but I'm not a wine drinker. I'm not really a drinker at all, really anymore. So I'm thankful for that. But I can honestly say though, like Ciroc had a hold on me. Ciroc had and that Parrot Bay rum. Oh my God. All right, y'all. Listen. I'm going all the way left now. And God, like reel that thing on in. But my point is to say this, and I don't take it lightly at all, man, that God will take care of us. That we every need will be met. Like we don't have to have all the answers. I know like sometimes we got people counting on us to make the right answers, like to make the right choices, right? And some of us got kids that's dependent on us, right? But we can't be anything to our kids. We can't be anything to, siblings, parents, any of that without going to the source, which is God. Like we have to be reminded that God is our Father. He was our Father first. He was not just our Father, but He was our friend. I don't know who He is to you. And maybe we'll talk about that next week, man. Who is God to you? Like, I know we talked about it a little bit last week, right? Because that was kind of the topic last week. Like, who is God to you, right? Because this thing is personal. But maybe we can expound upon that a little bit more because, we got to be mindful, man, of how we, it's easier said than done, how we like to take the reins and how we like control. I don't know about y'all, but listen, I like control. I do. I'm a control freak sometimes. I like control. I like to know why things happen the way it's happening, when it's happening. You see what I'm saying? I'm a real curious person. I've always been a curious child, y'all, like Curious George. I have always been that child, but I always spoke my mind. And sometimes me speaking my mind would get me in trouble, but my mom would always encourage me to speak my mind. And she always just tell me, just say what you got to say. It's okay. And I had to learn that as I got older, right? Sometimes things don't need to be said in a certain setting. Like there's certain times for everything. And so that was something that I had to mature, right? At something that's the maturity level. Like I had to grow. And so even me growing now and taking this time to honestly say, like, listen, I still don't got it all together. Listen. I'm gonna tell you what, God is still helping me through this cussing, through this profanity. Because listen, sometimes I like to bless people with some words, and that don't even sound right. You see what I'm saying? That didn't even sound right. I like to bless them with a few words. And what kind of words am I blessing them with? See, you see what I'm saying? See, and it just depends because what happens is that this other person, Toya, I'm gonna tell you what, Toya ain't right, but the God that's in me is perfect, and that's why I'm just like the God in me gotta rise up because Toya, Toya. Bless her heart. Bless her heart. You see what I'm saying? But I'm getting it together though, y'all, because what I'm understanding more and more is that God is reminding me, even in that scripture, that listen, I take care of the birds. I'm going to take care of you. Like you mean so much to me. And we got to make that thing personal. God says the same thing to you. You mean so much to me. I will take away those things that it is that you don't want to do, the things that you used to do. I can help you with that. You can't do this thing by yourself. Listen, and God will begin to bring people in your life too to help encourage you, to help build you up. And it's a beautiful thing. And that's why I say I'm thankful for mine. I'm thankful for my friends. I'm thankful for the people that God has put in my life because I don't take it lightly at all. I do not take it lightly at all. Listen, I love accountability. It's easy for me to call people out. So I don't mind it when people call me out. You see what I'm saying? And I take it, I receive it, and some things I'm not gonna receive because that's just what it is. Because if it ain't of God, I ain't receiving it. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes things have to be said in love, and it is a way that you go about those things. And I'm not saying that you got to call people out in front of people, right? I ain't saying that at all, but sometimes you got to check people. Sometimes you do. And especially those people who literally are your like-minded people. Like, it's okay for you to call them out. They want to grow just as much as you want to grow. And that's the beautiful thing that I love about this platform, is that we want to grow together, man. We want to grow to glow. We want to grow to let the light shine. And that's what this thing is about, man. I'm so excited, y'all. Thank y'all so much for being on here on tonight, showing your girl some support. And we're gonna get back to it next week. This is what we do, right? We grow to glow. This is what we do, girls, honeys, men, ladies, and gentlemen. We grow to glow. So I'm gonna see y'all later. I love y'all. Bye.